The Nikon 18-300, the best all-purpose zoom for DX format cameras. So today we have one of my favourite lenses for Nikon APS-C cameras. It's the Nikon AF-S Nikkor 18-300mm f3.5 to 5.6 VR DX telephoto lens. So this lens has 16 elements in 12 groups, which is a lot of glass for a lens this small. I mean, this lens is only 11 centimeters long and weighs 550 grams. This lens supports, as the name suggests, a focal range from 18mm to 300mm. This is an equivalent focal length on a 35mm camera of 27 to 450. This makes this lens great for wildlife photography as well as an everyday all-purpose lens. This lens has a few Nikon features such as VR, ED, SWM and A/M. VR is Nikon's vibration reduction, which allows you to get sharper images by eradicating small movements such as breathing. There are a lot of varying opinions on Nikon's VR, but I can personally see a difference myself. I suggest if you have a VR lens and you want to test this at home, you put it on your camera body and you hold the camera up to your eye looking through the viewfinder and then switch VR on and off on your lens, and I can see a difference, but your mileage may vary. ED is Nikon's branding for lenses that have a higher quality glass. Nikon states that ED glass is essential for telephoto lenses and it can't hurt having a higher quality glass on your lens. SWM stands for Silent Wave Motor, which is a more advanced autofocusing system. SWM uses travelling waves that convert into rotational energy to focus your lens. A/M lets you autofocus your lens, and if you want to, manually override that focus without switching into manual mode on your lens. This lens supports an 18mm lock, which I use quite a bit when storing the lens because it's in its smallest form. I also use this lock in some photography. Night photography, such as star trails, is a common reason for me to use this feature because I don't want the focal length to change accidentally if I have to touch the lens for some reason or another. Panorama photography is another reason I'd use the lock, since you want all your settings to stay the same whilst you're shooting the photos for the panorama. So let's take a physical tour of the lens. So first up you have the front element, which has the 67mm thread right in front of it. On the top you have the focal length indicator as well as a badge telling you what lens it is and a few specifications. On the back you have the standard Nikon F mount with 8 connector pins. On the bottom there is more branding and specifications. And lastly, on the left side you have a switch to switch between manual and autofocus, the switch to turn vibration reduction on or off, and the switch that locks the lens at 18mm that I mentioned earlier. So what do I like about this lens? Well, for starters, the focal range is amazing. Being able to crop in tight while still being able to get a wide angle shot without changing lenses saves a lot of time and surprisingly a lot of photos. There have been a few times where an interesting bird has flown past whilst I've been taking landscape shots, and I was able to detach the camera from the tripod and zoom right in and take the photo of the bird. The aperture is nothing to complain about. 3.5 is still really fast for night shots, and this lens will give you decent bokeh. The lock is an amazing feature that Nikon doesn't seem to have as a selling point. I mean, I use this feature heaps. Why doesn't Nikon have it on their site? Some things I don't like about this lens is that it's quite heavy, especially on my D70-200. This is quite a heavy setup to have around your neck or on your shoulder all day. So the Nikon 18-300 f3.5 to 6.3 is a great lens with some amazing features which stays on my body whenever I'm doing casual photography or don't know what I'm going to be shooting. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, leave a comment to what your favourite lens is, share this video if you think someone else would like it, and as always, don't forget to subscribe.